Good day, everyone. Today we will talk about digital communication. Introduction. A communication system is a system which describes the information exchange between two points. The process of transmission and reception of information is called communication. The major elements of communications are transmitter of information, channel or medium of communication, and receiver of information. Types of communication systems. First, the analog. Analog technology communicates data as electronic signals of varying frequency or amplitude. Broadcast and telephone transmission are common examples of analog technology. Second is the digital. Digital technology. The data are generated and processed into two states. First, the high represented as 1 and low represented as 0. Digital technology stores and transmits data in the form of 1 and 0. Next, the communication system is categorized as follows. Wired. Wired is a line communication, like parallel wire communication, twisted wire communication, coaxial cable communication, optical fiber communication. Second is wireless or space communication, like ground wave communication, skywave communication, space wave communication, and satellite communication. Next, example of communication systems. For example, internet, public switches, telephone network, intranet and extranet, and television. Elements of communication systems: information, signal, transducer, amplifier, and modulator. Information is a message of information is the entity that is to be transmitted. It can be in the form of audio, video, temperature, picture, or pressure. Next, signal. A single valued function of time that carries the information. The information is converted into electrical form for transmission. Transducer. A device or an arrangement that converts one form of energy to another. An electrical transducer converts physical variables such as pressure, force, temperature into corresponding electrical signal variation. For example, microphone converts audio signals into electrical signals. Photodetector converts light signals into electrical signals. Amplifier, the electronic circuit of device that increases the amplitude or the strength of the transmitted signal is called an amplifier. When the signal strength becomes less than the required value, amplifier can be done anywhere in between transmitter and receiver. The DC power source will provide for the amplification. Modulator, as the original message signal cannot be transmitted over a large distance because of their low frequency and amplitude, they are superimposed with high frequency and amplitude wave called carrier wave. This phenomenon of superimposing of message signal with a carrier wave is called modulation, and the resultant wave is a modulated wave which is to be transmitted. Type of modulation. There are three types of modulation. First, the amplitude modulation, next frequency modulation, and phase modulation. Amplitude modulation is the process of changing the amplitude of the signal wave by impressing and superimposing it on high frequency carrier wave. Keeping its frequency constant is called amplitude modulation. Next is frequency modulation. Is a technique in which the frequency of the message signal is verified by modulating with a carrier wave. It's better than efficient than amplitude modulation because it eliminates noise from various sources. Next is phase modulation. Phase of the carrier wave changes the phase of the signal wave. The phase shift after modulation is dependent on the frequency of the carrier wave as well. Phase modulated waves are immune to noise to a greater extent. Transmitter. It is the arrangement that processes the message signal into a suitable form of transmission and subsequently reception. Next is antenna. An antenna is a structure or a device that is radiate and receive electromagnetic waves, so they are used in both transmitters and receivers. An antenna is basically a metallic object, often a collection of wires. Electromagnetic waves are polarized according to position of antenna. Channel. Channel refers to physical medium such as wires, cables, space through while the signal is passed from transmitter to the receiver. There are many channel impairments that affect the channel performance to a pronounced level. Noise, attenuation, and distortion to mention the major impairments. Noise. Noise is one of the channel imperfection or impairment in the received signal at the destination. There are external and internal sources that cause noise. External sources include interference from nearby transmitted signal, interference generated by natural sources such as lighting, solar or cosmic radiation, from automobile generator radiation. The external noise can be minimized and eliminated by appropriate design of the channel, shielding of cables. Also, by digital transmission, external noise can be much minimized. Attenuation. Attenuation is a problem caused by the medium if the signal is propagating for a longer distance through a medium. Depending on the length of the medium and initial power decreases. The loss in initial power is directly proportional to the length of the medium. Using amplifiers, the signal power is strengthened or amplified so as the reduce attenuation. Also, digital signals are comparatively less prone to attenuation than analog signals. So there are the figure of effect of attenuation. There are 0.1, 0.2, and 0.3. Distortion. It is also another type of channel problem. When the signal is distorted, the distorted signal may be frequency and bandwidth difference from the transmitted signal. The variation in the signal frequency can be linear or non-linear. Receiver, an arrangement that extracts the message of information from the transmitted signal at the output end of the channel and reproduces it in a suitable form as the original message signal is a receiver. Demodulator. It is the inverse phenomenon of modulation. The process of separation of message signal from the carrier wave takes place in the demodulator. The information is retrieved from the modulated wave. Repeaters. Repeaters are placed at different locations in between the transmitter and receiver. A repeater receives the transmitted signal, amplifies it, and sends into the next repeater without distorting the original signal. This is the diagram of communication system. The black diagram given above represents the flow in the signal from the source of the destination. The role of every device and arrangement discussed above is better understood. So this is the communication system, the block diagram. So next, there's another figure, transmitter and receiver, how it works. And that would be all. Thank you for listening.
Hey, feeling good. waka waka.